What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. Now, as you can tell by the title of today's video, this is an r/EntitledParents episode. However, if I'm completely honest, I think that the title needs to be changed, and I genuinely might go back and change it. This dad is not entitled, he's not even insane, he is an absolute maniac. It will all become clear as we get into this mental story, but honestly, guys, comment down below after you listen to this. Is this man the craziest man that I've ever even read a story about on my channel? For me, he's right up there. Let's get into it. Friend's dad forced me to try his bad cooking that made me throw up over it, but he wouldn't allow me to leave the table until I finish it. Hey, so this is a bit of a long one, and the parent involved is not entirely entitled, but more like insane. First of all, a bit of background. I had a best friend, and we were really close, to the point where she would stay over mine and my parents' house for months, especially over the summer. At some point, she transferred to my school, and she would stay with us for up to 3 to 4 months straight. Go home for a day or two, or on holiday with her family, and then come back to ours and stay for the next few months. In the meantime, I've possibly been at her house maybe once or twice in my life. Anyway, during her stays, my mum would go as far as making separate meals for both of us, as I'm a picky eater and have some food intolerances. For example, I only eat bird meat and occasional seafood, where my friend loves red meat and pork and eats a lot but stays skinny. During her stays, we would also give her clothes, do laundry, drive her to school, and cover up any food shopping, including snacks. But her parents never reimbursed us for any of these expenses, despite being well off. They had 6+ massive houses, always had the newest cars, and had a toilet made of gold in one of the bathrooms that only her father was allowed to use. My family didn't pay much attention, since she was a friend and we had a good time. Now, this had been going on for a while, so I wasn't too worried when her parents allowed her to have one of their houses to herself and her friends for her birthday. Her dad also said that he would do all the cooking and would accommodate all the dietary requests. The day comes, and I decided against taking any extra food with me to cook, since her dad would handle the cooking. And one of our mutual friends, who was the child of our school headmaster, is openly vegetarian. So in the worst case scenario, I could eat veggies, fruits, or bread. We arrive at the house, where her dad has finished with the barbecue. Before food, he informs us that he wants my friend to have an amazing birthday. So he wants us to hand him our phones, and he will return them after the birthday, so we can have a good time as well. The only person exempt was an older friend, a 21-year-old, but that was due to him having a small child left with his fiancée and parents. After, my friend's dad puts a plate filled with meats in front of everyone, and proudly informs us that he made pork, which neither me, the headmaster's kid, or another friend could eat for religious reasons. So I was just enjoying some fruits and veggies when my friend's dad noticed that I hadn't eaten the barbecue that he'd made. The entitled dad then said to me, "You haven't eaten any of the meats. Are you feeling okay?" Yeah, I'm just not really a fan of pork, and I actually prefer veggies. Oh, are you a vegetarian as well then? Nah, I just don't like the taste and the texture of pork. Well, in this case, sorry, but you're gonna have to eat it. I've spent most of the day cooking, and it's rude not to try the food that the host has made. Look, I get that, but I really don't like pork, and I'm gonna actually eat something that I do like and can tolerate. You're not making others eat pork because they had their reasons, so why pick me? Well, their reasons are valid, while yours isn't. You're just being fuzzy. You're not leaving this table or having anything else until you eat my pork. Okay, that is potentially the maddest innuendo. Ignore that, let's carry on. Well, I guess I won't be leaving then. Then my friend gets involved. Dad, I've told you she doesn't eat pork and prefers chicken. You said you bought some for her and my other friend. I only bought pork. She will eat what adults make and needs to stop creating a scene. Now eat. So at this point, I was pretty hungry and decided to try it, since my friend previously said that her dad's cooking is really good. I regretted my decision though with the first bite I took. Not only was it really hard and the meat felt gristly, but it didn't smell good either. As I'm very sensitive to textures, my immediate reaction would be to throw up. So I tried to escape, but the dad wouldn't let me. You're not going anywhere until you finish your food. But she's clearly not feeling well. I don't care. She's not leaving the table until she finishes her food. At this point, I had no other choice but getting sick in front of others, as this pork tasted horrific. I thought the dad would finally let me go, but no, he still expected me to finish that slice of pork that's now covered in my own vomit. Seeing all of this, our older friend texts my parents, asking to pick me up. They're trying to get hold of me, but they can't because, of course, our phones are in different rooms. About 30 minutes later, my dad does arrive, while I'm still sat at that table, covered in God knows what, with my friend's dad still insisting I must finish what I've started, and that if I don't, he'll feed me himself. This guy is a maniac. Finally, my dad comes in. What happened here? Oh my God, are you okay? Why are you crying? At this point, my friend's dad steps back and allows my dad to pick me up and help me get into the car. My dad is visibly confused at the sight of what happened, so he asks questions. So what happened here? What made her sick? Well, she had some pork. Well, she doesn't eat that. Why was she sitting at the table instead of being allowed to go to the bathroom? Because she needs to stop being fussy and eat what is made for everyone, unless she is exempt. So I wanted to make sure that she eats what I'd made, and I didn't want her to ruin my golden seeds. At this point, my dad gets visibly angry. She's nearly an adult and can cook herself, let alone take care of herself, and she knows what she likes and doesn't like. She can eat what she wants and does not need to be treated like a child. Well, she is still a child. Otherwise, she wouldn't be so fussy. It will only cause problems, and I'm fixing a mistake that you made as a parent. At this point, my dad gets me into the car, so I'm not exactly sure what happened next. He came back later with my phone and we drove off, but he was also still visibly angry. A few days later, my friend called me and started going off about how I'd ruined her perfect birthday, made her dad embarrassed because I'm fussy, and the meat was perfectly fine. Later, the headmaster's daughter told me that nobody actually ate the meat, as they'd all agreed it was badly made and of bad quality. My friend continued that I must have just been jealous of her life and so on. Needless to say, she was not allowed to stay anymore, and we weren't friends for much longer after that, since her dad believed I was a bad influence. I mean, listen, guys, as I said halfway through that story, that guy, as OP correctly said as well at the start, he's not entitled. I don't even think he's insane. He's almost maniac. What is he? Seriously? Yeah, I guess it's one thing asking OP to eat food that you've made. Obviously, look, you've gone through the trouble of making it completely fine. It'll be annoying if I was to make some food and a lot of people didn't want to eat it. Yeah, I'd probably be a bit annoyed and feel quite bad about myself, and I'd rather them eat it than not. Fine, but then going to the extreme of first forcing them to eat it, that's mad. Secondly, forcing them to stay at the table as they vomit, that's incredibly mad. And then thirdly, not allowing them to leave until they finish the thing that has made them vomit, despite the fact that it's now covered in that vomit. That's up there for me. Comment down below. Can you remember a story I've read where it has or it involves a person quite like this? Top tier crazy bloke, seriously. And clearly your best friend, or whoever she really is, doesn't fall far from the tree. She's literally just scrounged off your entire family for months on end. Her own family seemingly not even caring about her or what she's doing, just as long as she's with you and you're paying for it all, that's all good. But as soon as it goes the other way and there's a little bit of animosity between you, your best friend, her best friend, and her dad, she's like, no, you caused all of this. Clearly not my entitled, insane, maniac dad. You caused it and your family. We're not going to be mates anymore. What a true friend she is. Now moving on to our second story of today's episode. Mum freaks at swim class. My daughter is 9 months and we recently signed up for swim classes. At her age, it's basically getting them acclimatized to the water so they aren't scared, and slowly getting them to the point that they can eventually float on their back. They do require masks for the parents. It's on the doors, it's in the pamphlets, and they make you watch a session before signing up, so it's not hidden. Well, we're getting ready, and this mum comes in for her kid's first lesson. He's about 15 months. She is unmasked, so the person at the front tells her she needs a mask, but that if she doesn't have any, they have extra. The mum just strolls on by, tells her she's vaccinated, and keeps it moving. The girl was in high school, and you could tell she didn't know what to do. The head person there though is a bit older and seemed like she was no nonsense, but she is awesome, so I never could confirm it till that moment. She goes up to the lady and nicely tells her that she does need a mask. It's required even if you're vaccinated. The lady doesn't like that though and says, now that is ridiculous. She didn't know and she wasn't going to do it. The manager just tells her that that's fine, she can fill out her cancellation, and since she never did a lesson, they'll refund her. But the mum goes ballistic. It was about 20 minutes of absolute craziness. Every cuss word imaginable, which really annoyed another mum who had an 11-month-old and a 3-year-old with her. Yeah, not surprised. She then got into it with that mum about cussing, and it was just a big fiasco. The Karen was yelling at the manager about being a sheep, telling the other mum to stay out of it or else. The manager was just staring, I'm sure in disbelief at just what was happening. The other mum, who was yelling at the Karen about cussing, was also using every single word variant imaginable. Flippin', mother trucker, stuff like that. That must have been a hilarious conversation. One mum just going for it, just completely swearing, not giving two dangs, and this one, you know, using stuff like dang. Wow, great stuff. I did learn that even though my daughter is 9 months old, she thinks craziness is amusing when not involved, because she was just staring and even giggled at one point when the Karen made a sheep noise. I mean, I would too. That is hilarious. After 20 minutes of absurdity, the police show up. The high schooler had called them. It wasn't hard to figure out what was going on, but the funniest thing was the Karen turned and said, "Oh my god, thank goodness, officer, this manager is discriminating against my freedom, and that this lady thinks she can tell me what I can and can't say. Please arrest them." Okay, wow. Well, the next part was pure gold. They'd already talked to the high schooler outside the door, I guess, so they knew what was actually going on. They immediately cuffed the Karen, who just let out this unbelievable shriek. They told her she was under arrest and asked her who they could call to pick up the child, who somehow had sat in his chair the whole time, looking like he was used to this. Yeah, probably because he is used to this. She starts yelling that she isn't going to give out personal information. She knows her rights. Before the cop says anything, the other mum says, "Wow, you're dumber than I thought." Karen didn't like that and immediately lunged at her. The cop tried to stop her and I guess kinda succeeded. He didn't let her get a full head of steam. This allowed the other mum to sidestep and give her a little nudge right into the pool. At that point, I think everyone knew it was best to end things. The instructor helped the lady get out of the pool while she was yelling that she would sue and all sorts of nonsense. The cop hurriedly got her out of there and she eventually gave her their husband's number, who picked up the kid. What an absolute whirlwind that story was. I mean, if you thought getting arrested was bad, getting arrested and then having the wombo combo of being shoved into a pool by a person that you were just arguing with, wow, that is next level. Honestly, I really was not expecting it to go there. Brilliant. I thought, you know, just plain and simple, she's being annoying, not wearing a mask, anti-masker, whatever, gets arrested. Calm, but no, being shoved in the pool to top it all off. Oh my god. She's been shoved into a pool having already been arrested. What? Oh, justice. Justice indeed. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this one. Really hope you have enjoyed it. That last story in particular, that's tickled me, not going to lie. If you did like it and you want to see more from me right away, check out a couple more videos on screen right there. Equally as funny, equally as entertaining, and I'm equally as sexy in all of them. So, keep that in mind. Click one. All right, bye.